Hello everybody and welcome back to Kat's Corner. My name is Kat and this is my corner of YouTube. Today is the third episode of My Back Brace and Me. And today we're going to be talking about physical pain and discomfort during and after the back bracing process, or if you just have scoliosis in general. I have a lot to cover today, so let's jump right into it. First, pain and discomfort during back bracing. The first thing that I remember is itching. When you're in your back brace, you really can't physically itch anything that the brace covers up. Any torso itches, lower back, upper back, stomach, anything. And while you may not think you itch all that often, when you can't itch and your sweat and everything is trapped, you recognize that yes, in fact, you do itch quite frequently. And when you're in your brace, it's really hard to figure out how to itch it. So one of the things that I learned was flexing my core muscles in a way that would move the back brace in subtle ways. And since the back brace goes under your arms, I would push down my brace with my arms to kind of move it along my body. And if I could figure out how to kind of wiggle inside my brace, then the brace itself would itch or scratch the places that itched. Next, sores and skin breakage, if that's a word. So one of the things that you are going to struggle with a lot is your skin breaking down because of the back brace. And that is because, if we look at my back brace here, inside you have these pads. Here for me, I had one up along here, and they're not exactly the most comfortable. I mean, if we look at this pad alone, it is so thick. It's that thick, and it's pushing against your back because it's fighting against the scoliosis. And as it pushes and you start sweating, or the brace rubs, you get friction, and friction creates sores and your skin breaks down, and it becomes very painful. The first thing, make sure you're communicating with your doctor. My orthotist, Miss Angela, was a fabulous woman, and sometimes I would see her every 2 weeks because my skin was very sensitive, because I am a ginger, and that meant my skin would break down and create sores and would bleed and would hurt very easily. Now, someone who doesn't have that sensitive of skin, you may not struggle with it as much, but it will be uncomfortable because that's the point. Your back is being pushed against gravity and against what it is naturally trying to do. And so in the areas that it's being pushed, you're going to get pain. Ways that can help this is, one, using cornstarch in the areas of your torso that get the most sweat buildup and have the sores, because cornstarch or baby powder or any other kind of sweat absorbing powder will cause the area of the skin to become drier, and when it's drier, it's harder for that friction to get started because your brace isn't going to be moving around as much. Also, make sure you're drying completely after showers, swimming, anything. Because if you are still really wet and you put on your back brace, it is going to slip and slide, and the more it moves, the more it rubs. Another one, lotion and oils are either great or terrible. They can really help calm down the skin that's really agitated, especially if it's dry and cracked, but make sure they fully dry and absorb into your body before you put your back brace back on, because otherwise it's literally lubricating your body and giving your back brace acceleration of movement. Keeping your back brace clean is very important, because since your skin is going to be more irritated and stuff like that, you don't want your back brace collecting bacteria, which it will be prone to doing. So rubbing it down with some rubbing alcohol or alcohol wipes, baby wipes, whatever you want to do, will help immensely. Just make sure it dries fully before you put it on. Notice the theme here? And lastly on this topic, seams. Seams will be your enemy, because seams are areas that, if rubbed against, creates a lot of discomfort. And so that's why there are companies that make brace shirts. Now, I remember that's what I wore under my brace. They were like giant tube socks with straps for me, but they had no seams anywhere, and they just clung to my body to give a barrier between your skin and your brace, because you never want your brace against your bare skin. Ow and ew. But if you can't afford brace shirts because they are a little bit more expensive, or at least they were when I was a kid, then getting a t-shirt or a tank top, a cami, something like that to put underneath is crucial. But make sure it doesn't have seams. No seams along the side, no seams, anywhere in the brace region. Because if there are, whenever your brace does rub and move, it's going to worsen it in the areas of the seam. For girls who have bras, that also means that you're going to have to figure out what's comfortable to wear under your brace, because wearing a bra over your brace is going to be very challenging, and I'll talk about that in a different video related to clothing. But finding a bra that either has minimal seams, or your brace just doesn't hit it in the places it has seams, or finding a bra that doesn't have seams at all, like a comfort bra, which is literally seamless, will be very beneficial. There are training bras, sports bras, comfort bras, and a bunch of other types of bras that are made without seams and without any of that uncomfortable stuff, because people have sensitive skin, and underwire doesn't always work, especially if it doesn't fit within your brace. Also, and this shouldn't have to be said, but just in case, stay clean. Shower regularly or bathe regularly, because if you've got sweat buildup or grime, anything like that under or on your skin under your brace, it's going to create a slip and slide for your brace to whoof around in. I don't know what that was, but okay. And it will also cause worser irritation, because you're getting dirt and sweat and grossness inside. So make sure you're showering regularly, but also make sure to dry yourself fully before putting your brace on. On the note of putting your brace on, always make sure you're putting it on correctly. If your doctor tells you to put it on laying down, which most will, at least I know I had to and most other people have to, make sure you're doing that. It took me the longest time to figure out when I needed to, how to put my brace on standing up when I had to, and how to do it correctly. But the reason they want you to lay down is that way your stomach flattens the most, you're able to get it the tightest, you're able to position it correctly on your body, and just everything works out. Because if you have it too high up, it's gonna rub real bad. If you have it too low, it's gonna creep up and hurt real bad. It's just gonna push on the wrong areas of your body, and it's going to really irritate certain areas. Because if you look at the brace, there are curves built into it for your body. So like a curve here and a curve here, and wherever you may have your curves. And if these are in the wrong areas of your body, ouch. Another type of pain that you may come across is heat. Heat struggles are very real in a back brace. Now, I struggled a lot because I am just naturally prone to heating up faster. But in general, you're wearing a brace that is made out of plastic and foam. No ventilation. At least I didn't have any ventilation. You may have some sort of ventilation in your brace, but either way, when it gets hot and you start sweating, it gets really uncomfy. That shirt you wear under your brace is gonna get gross and sweaty and wet. There were days when it was so hot I could feel the sweat roll down my back and pool in areas of my brace that just were divoted. And when I would take off my brace and my brace shirt, it would be soaking wet. I know it sounds gross because it is, but making sure you cool down regularly is important. Get to somewhere with air conditioning or just sit down and take a breather, because if you're constantly going, you're gonna get hot real fast and it's gonna be really hard for you to cool down. Also, drink water, lots and lots of water, because since you're going to be getting hotter than most people probably would, and you're going to be sweating more than most people probably would, you're going to be losing water a whole lot faster. So staying hydrated is very important so that you don't get heat stroke or really nasty heat headaches, heat poisoning, anything like that. You really want to make sure you're listening to your body, because if your body's telling you, dude, slow down, and you start getting bad headaches, dizzy, lightheaded, or you're just getting miserable, don't push it. Take care of yourself, because you only get one body and you might as well take care of it. Next, pain and discomfort after bracing, or if you don't have any bracing whatsoever and just physical pain, or just scoliosis. Chronic pain and discomfort is very common for people who have scoliosis, even after they've had bracing or surgery or what have you. And these are either caused by underlying issues getting worse from the scoliosis, or the scoliosis causing underlying issues. Now, when I state these different issues, I'm gonna pause and pop up a picture so that you guys can pause the video if you want to read more about it, or you could just go past it. Number 1, disc degeneration in the cervical, thoracic, or lumbar portions of the spine. Disc bulges, disc herniation, ligament laxity or looseness in the spinal and pelvic joints, inflammation of the sacroiliac joints, dislocation of the spinal joints, or fractures of the spine. Ouch. Now, these are certain conditions, but we also now have types of pain that you may encounter. The first one, lower back or lumbar pain. This is very common in adolescents with idiopathic scoliosis, definition here, and adults. Also, elderly people with scoliosis will experience a more significant degenerative disc disease, which damages the ligaments that hold the spine in place if they get this disease. Many adults will develop a hunched posture due to the curvature of the spine, and this can cause a lot of pain. This condition is called kyphosis. Osteoporosis is also closely linked with adults who have scoliosis. My mom, in fact, is one of those people. And all of these different situations can cause your lower back to hurt a lot. That's one of the areas that I experience pain, actually, because I have idiopathic scoliosis and the lower portion of my back is always in pain. The next type of pain that one can experience are headaches. Chronic headaches and other types of neck and head related pain can be very common in those who have scoliosis. Muscle tension and scoliosis in the neck can happen from forward head posture or slouching. If you tend to go like this and be, hanging your head or just like not holding it upright, this kind of pain can be very common because the neck muscles can become tight and hurt because your body isn't meant to be like this all the time. And so if you are like that, your neck muscles get strained and you have headaches and all sorts of other types of things. Pinched nerves can also occur because if your spine is not aligned properly at the top of your neck, then it can pinch a nerve that it leads to the rest of you, or it can strain something. Another form of pain is hip pain. One hip can become higher than the other when you have scoliosis, or one will stick out more than the other due to the way your spine is curving. And this can create pain after a long portion of standing or walking due to the imbalance created on your body. This can happen if you see someone that have uneven legs, or if you have if you're born with uneven legs, it can even create the scoliosis because your body is curving already. Spinal stenosis and sciatica. My choice of pain. Not really. It's actually quite painful and not pleasant whatsoever. This is caused by scoliosis plus arthritis. Now, I don't have arthritis, but I do suffer with the type of pain that is being talked about, and doctors do think it's because of my scoliosis. These two conditions can cause a narrowing of the space between the vertebrae of the spine and the nerve that passes through. So there are places in your back where nerves go through the vertebrae because that's what protects them. And when your spine curves in one way or another, it can pinch that nerve that's in between. So if there's a nerve right here and then you curve your spine like that, that nerve gets curved too and it pinches, causing pain. This can cause sciatica, pain, numbness, or tingling from the butt and lower back, down the butt and down the back of the leg, even to the feet and toes. The way I experience it is not sciatica, but it is pain in the lower part of my back and twisting around my hips to the front and going down the side portion of my right leg all the way down to my knees. And I really can't feel it, so it's numb. And every so often, shooting pain occurs, like nerve pain. And if I scratch it or itch it, there's like tingling and sometimes like electrical pain. And also, after long periods of time of walking and standing, I can't feel parts of my feet, which, I mean, come on, that's obviously so enjoyable. But, no, it's actually quite uncomfortable. Shoulder pain is also very common in patients with scoliosis, and that can kind of be easily understood because your back is literally curving. And so if your shoulders are uneven, or if your spine is, if you have a thoracic or upper back curve, your spine is curving away from one area of your body. And because of this, your muscles are trying to pull it back. Spine curves this way, muscles pull this way, they get strained, that shoulder hurts, but then this shoulder, which is being curved towards, is getting more work and labor done, and so then it hurts as well. Bada bing, bada boom, now you have both shoulder pain. There are other types of pain, such as post-surgical pain and fractures of the spine, but I'm not really going to go into them today due to time and due to the fact that I am not as familiar with those types of pain. So now, what do you do? What do you do about back pain? Well, there are a few different options, and they have pros and they have cons. But first, always be in communication with your doctor. Just because I say a type of pain solution does not mean you should just do it without talking to your doctor or without looking into it more. Because I am not a doctor, I am simply an informed individual with experience. So, number one, pain medications. Ibuprofen, Tylenol, all those generic over-the-counter type of meds are very common when helping with back pain, but they aren't a long-term solution, and they shouldn't be used all the time because it can damage your liver and other organs of the body. Plus, it's just not going to work all the time. Your body will build a tolerance, you'll need more, and then you're getting into a dangerous amount of medication. So use it when the back pain gets real bad, or you just can't be in pain at that point, but don't rely on it all the time because that's not healthy. And when it comes to the more extreme pain medication, such as opioids, doctors are very hesitant of giving it out because, as you probably know, there's been a huge opioid crisis in our country as of late because people are abusing them and becoming very easily addicted. So again, those are only to be used if your doctor prescribes them, and only in the ways your doctor prescribes them. Don't ever try and get them any other way, and don't ever use them in a way your doctor tells you not to. Another form of treatment, but again isn't long-term and is used under doctor supervision, are epidurals or spinal injections. I don't know much about these. I know some people have had them, but really doctors try and minimize the amount of epidurals they give to a person. You may have heard of an epidural from a woman giving birth and that kind of epidural, and these are the same kind of things, but they're not meant to be given frequently over a long portion of time. Next, massages. This really helps me and my mom, and it can help you too. But again, this isn't a one-fix situation. But getting massages from, obviously, a professional in the areas that your spine causes the most tension and pressure and strain in the muscles can help relax and relieve the muscles and help increase blood flow, nutrients, and feeling in the areas of your back that hurt the most. But again, this isn't a one situation fix all. So yeah. Physical therapy. That is also something that can help. For me, it worked for a while, but it mostly gave me the tools to go forward in help managing my pain. Because unfortunately, if you have these back situations and this back pain, you're probably going to be struggling with this pain for a while, and not just one thing is gonna make it go poof, disappear. But for me, it taught me different types of stretches, different areas in which to like massage myself, or to get those like massage sticks or items that you can help just relieve the pressure in that area. And it taught me kind of like what I needed to work on, such as keeping a straight posture, because keeping a correct posture will help a lot. It will keep you from creating worse situations than you're already going to have. On the same kind of idea, chiropractic care can help. But again, it is not a long-term or standalone situation. I do know that a lot of people will use chiropractic care with a back brace, because this helps keep the back loose and keeps things flowing and moving in a way that it needs to be. Because when you're in your brace, you're not moving a lot. Things get stiff, and getting that back to crack and move and stay flexible is very important. And so when you're out of your brace and still experiencing pain, or you just have other situations that cause pain, chiropractics can help when you present them with your situation, and they will know certain things to do in order to relieve pressure or to help, you know, get the back moving in the way it needs to. But always make sure to consult your doctor first, because chiropractics won't work with everybody, and you don't want to cause more damage. And this also shouldn't replace a back brace or anything like that, because they can't fix your scoliosis. I'll talk about that in a different video, but they can't fix it. They can only help the symptoms and move in the right direction. Next, spinal decompression. Now, this is something that I have seen and experienced a little bit of, but am not extremely familiar with. But this is where the individual working with you, I believe it's a doctor, will increase blood flow and nutrients to the areas of the spine that are compressed the most by gently stretching it, decompressing the areas that are the most strained, compressed, and tight. And this, I believe, is similar to kind of like a combination of massages, stretching, and physical therapy, but it's under the guidance of a doctor, and it is important that you do it in the way they say, because your spine and back is more sensitive and more prone to being injured when you have scoliosis or these other types of situations. And so you don't want to damage it more by doing something that you think is good and ends up hurting it more in the end. And lastly, two things that you can do on your own that can help is heating and cooling, so heating pads and cold packs, or like a hot bath or something like that, used in increments, so not all the time, because that can damage things, and using it in the areas that hurt the most. My mom will alternate like 15 to 20 minutes with an ice pack on, and then off, and then on, and then off, like every hour or so. And then some days she'll be using a heating pad, or she'll alternate the two. For me, heat helps the most, because I get a lot of tightness and knots in areas of my spine. And so that heating pad comes in and kind of releases things. I also like taking hot baths with like salts or stuff that helps relax the muscles. And this just kind of helps everything loosen, blood circulating more, because when you heat things up, they expand or loosen, and when you cool things down, you tighten them. And so when you talk to your doctor, ask them like, hey, would cold or heat help? Because that's something you can do on a daily basis to improve your spine situation. And lastly, stretching and exercise. This is very important because you want to keep flexibility in your back. One thing I didn't do for a very long time was stretch, because I just figured I couldn't because of my back brace. And it took me a long time to get that flexibility back, to reverse what I had done. And so stretching, obviously in a way that's good for your back and something your doctor recommends, can be very, very beneficial. Because again, loosening, expanding, releasing tension, all those things can be very helpful for your back when it's in pain or under pressure. Both of these things you can do on your own and at home, and exercise is very helpful as well. Keeping moving, keeping your core and back strong, and exercising in ways that not only strengthen your back but don't overexert on your back is very important, because if you exercise the wrong way or too intensely, again, it can damage your back more than it can help. But it's very important to keep those muscles working, because if you let them just kind of deteriorate, nothing good can happen from that. Thank you guys so much for sticking with me. I know this is slightly longer of a video, and thank you so much to the fabulous viewer, maybe even subscriber, that suggested this video because of his own back struggles. Again, if you guys ever have anything you want me to make a video about, clearly I do deliver. Just leave it in the comments down below. Click that subscribe button and that bell notification button so that you know every time I upload a new video, and check out my channel. See the other 2 episodes that I've done before this. I am so happy to see that my videos are doing well and that people are genuinely liking and responding to them. Put down in the comments anything you need to know or want to know, and if you have any other further concerns, contact me at my social media, which will appear right here on the screen. I have Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. But again, if you are in a situation of severe pain or something that could need immediate attention, please go to the ER, immediate care, or call your doctor. I am not a doctor, I am not held liable, but I do want to help support you guys. I hope you guys are having a fabulous morning, night, afternoon, day, and evening, wherever you may be, and I can't wait to see all you fabulous people in the next episode of My Back Brace and Me. Bye guys!